Morning, Coach. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Mark. Mark, I'll start out by congratulating Coach Banghart and the Lady Tar Heels for going to the Sweet 16 in our third year, and they competed so hard against a great team in South Carolina, and really, really proud of all Courtney's done and all the progress they've made, and equally as proud of Hubert. They have turned it around and been very positive, and have put our university in a great spot for a lot of national attention on Saturday night, and all Tar Heels will be pulling hard. So proud of the ladies and pulling hard for the men for them to finish strong. We have hired Emma Thake, Thake is our new director of performance and nutrition just for football. She was a 7-year director at Washington. She basically was in charge of all the sports and had 7 that she took care of directly. She has very similar ideas to Kelsey Gomes that we had here before. But this is a big step for us because it's the first time we have just had a nutritionist for football only. So Emma will be a big help. She's been here for about a week, and we're very, very excited about her. We're also excited to bring another star back. Chuko left as our director of football student development, and we brought in Denoris Searcy. And we're very, very excited about Denoris. I knew of him, but I had not met him. 8-year guy in the NFL, 4th-round draft pick for us with the Bills, 4-year letterman from 2007 to 2010. He's been in the places and done the things that all these guys want to do. So he'll be a tremendous mentor for them. And he married Kiki, who was on our track team here, and then she becomes the first Black USA, and is a tremendous person that will be an inspiration to our guys as well. He's donated money back. In fact, the defensive back room is named after him. And he also ran a camp for underprivileged kids. So he's done a lot of tremendous things, and he's been here for about a week, 10 days, and he's also had a real impact with our guys. And he was involved with Pro Day, and there's so many things that he can help them with that I'm excited about that as well. Pro Day went well. Pro Day is for our guys who didn't get to go to the combine, so they have their combine here, or for the guys that went to the combine to redo anything that they didn't think went well. And then talking to Coach Moody, all 32 teams were represented here. We had general managers, we had offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators. So we had a great group for the guys to work in front of. And Coach Moody thought everybody helped themselves, nobody hurt themselves. And that's what Pro Day is about. The other thing that's good is that all of our guys are graduates. So if it doesn't work out for them in the NFL, they can go ahead and start the next phase of their life. We did have 8 guys work out and 2 grad transfers that came back. Patrice Renee came back and Miles Wolfett. So we gave both of those guys an opportunity to work as well. As far as the spring game, it has been announced that THI Kraft is sick. He does have cancer. So we're going, and because the players wanted to, we're going to name the spring game this year Tylee Strong, and get Tylee, if he feels like it, to come out and be an honorary captain for the game. And because he's been out to a couple of practices, and we're looking at maybe some other special young people that are fighting through some things like Tylee are to come out with him and be honorary captain as well. That game's on April the 9th, and that will start at 3 o'clock. It's a 2-hour window for ACC Network, which is scheduled by the ACC office. So we'd like to encourage all the fans to come out. It'll be after the national championship game in basketball. We'd love to have everybody come out and watch and and see what next year's team looks like. And we should have a great game. Our last scrimmage on Saturday was good. We have guys like Cam Kelly and Geo Biggers who have not been able to hit during practice, but we let them scrimmage basically in a yellow jersey along with Storm Duck. Storm's doing a lot more now. We feel like he can probably be turned loose and let him go. So we went with basically thud, which is everything's full speed without tackling for the first 30 plays. And then the last 45 plays were a full speed scrimmage that I thought went really well. Just a very quick update here on some personnel things, and then I'll answer your questions. Very pleased with Corey Gaynor. He and Brian Anderson are both playing at center right now, so that's going to give us depth. We know that we've got two really good guys that can play there, and Kurian Johnson has played there. So we've really got three centers, where going into last year's game without Brian Anderson and then Q got hurt, we only had one and he was limited. So we feel like our depth's much better there. I like what I see out of our offensive line. We're still looking to get that 10 guys, and a lot of young guys are playing a lot. The early enrollees, we're just throwing out there, and they're having to learn on the run. We told them to not feel pressure at this point, but Zach Rice is going to be a really good player. He and Trevon Green both, we feel like are good signees, and Coach Bicknell's excited about both of them. We are very limited at wide receiver with our numbers, especially with THI being out. But we are also working Bryson Nesbitt some at receiver. So he's working in the slot and he's working on the outside. So he's working at tight end and wide receiver. Josh Downs and Antoine Green are doing well, and JJ Jones and Corey Paysor are really working hard to get some snaps as well. British Brooks right now is the only running back that has a position, and the other guys are competing. We've been pleased with George Pettaway. He's so fast, and he can do things in space. DJ Jones as well. We had a lot of live contact today in practice, and all of those running backs need to compete in practice at full speed, just so we can see them break tackles and see who those guys are, because somebody's got to step up in that area. Quarterbacks are all playing well. You've got Jacoby, you've got Drake that we know are competing every day to try to get the spot. And we're doing as much scrimmage type situation, live situation with them as we can to put them in a very difficult spot now before we get to next fall. And we've also been pleased with Connor Harrell. He's got a really quick release. He's quick. So it'll be fun to watch him a week from Saturday as well. Defensively, the defensive line continues to get better. Travis Shaw's, he's hard to block inside. He's so big. He has played well. But we feel like we're going to be good at that position. Javari Ritzy's so versatile. He's played tackle, plus he's played power end, along with Desmond Evans, who's having a very good spring. He's doing a better job rushing the passer. And we've moved Bo Atkinson over to power end, and we're pleased with his progress. When you start looking at what is called the jack, or the outside linebacker, we're very impressed with Noah Taylor. He's very quick and an outstanding pass rusher. Chris Collins still works hard. And then you've got Malachi Hambrick and Gabe Stevens that also potentially will be really good pass rushers, we feel like, moving forward. Eccles and Gray are both playing well at linebacker, but probably the Sebastian Cheeks and Rara Dilworth have made the most progress, and we feel very, very good about them. We're trying to get it so we can play the 22 on each side of the ball that we've talked about. And we just got to do that. You've got to do it to stay healthy. You've got to do it to stay fresh at the end of the game. But you also need to do it now for transfer portal, because if guys are backups and they're not getting to play, they're just leaving. So the more players you can play, the better chance you've got in the long run. Because of the injuries to Jaquarius Conley and Cam Kelly and Biggers, Dontavius Nash is getting a lot of work at safety, and he has improved a whole lot. And the same thing with you've got Grimes and Duck at corner, but behind them, Dante Bellflower's he's done a lot. Tamir Brown had an interception Saturday for a touchdown. So because of your injuries, young corners, young safeties are being forced to play a lot, and that's helping us. OB and DeAndre Boykins are playing the star position right now. Day Hollins is out as far as the corner position, so he's not been able to participate. But we feel like both Boykins and OB are doing a good job. We've got a battle at punter. Cole Maynard's really stepping up, and he and Ben Kiernan are both doing a good job punting. And Jonathan Kim's done an outstanding job kicking. So we feel like that a lot of positive things going on. We've got a lot of question marks and still have a tremendous amount of work where we can get where we need to be. Questions?
Thanks, Coach. If you have a question, please use the raised hand button, and we will begin with Andrew Jones. Go ahead.
Hey, Coach, going back to the defensive line, what's the optimal number of guys that you will be able to roll into the opener that can put a hand on the ground and be trusted? And where are you now in that respect? And the second part of the question is that a position right now that you're able to get maybe one of the healthier looks because of the number of guys that are available?
The second part of that is yes, Andrew. We're going full speed, and we need to improve our offensive line. We lost some good players, and we also were inconsistent. So we're working hard to make sure we don't have sacks and the quarterbacks get the ball out of their hands fast. And if we do have a sack, why and what needs to happen differently? Did we not chip with the back or the tight end? And so we're going a lot full speed in those two areas. What we would like to have is 9 guys that we can rotate up front. You'd like to be able to play 3 groups. And right now, you've got Tamari Fox out, you've got Jalil Taylor out, and you've got KJ Binkley out. So we think some of those guys will help with that other bunch. But when you look at guys like Hester and Murphy and Shaw and Ritzy, Silver, you got more people now than we've had. And we've got a lot of big bodies in there. And then to the power end part, when you play Ritzy out there some, but you add Des Evans, who's now 6'5", 265, that gives you a lot of bodies and a chance to play. And we're hoping that Bo Atkinson will continue to come and he could be that third power end.
You mentioned Travis Shaw. What has impressed you with some of the things he's adapted to as far as the physicality, the speed of the game, and also preparing like a college football player?
He is so big. I mean, he is, when you put him on the centers, he's just hard to block. And then he was a basketball player, could dunk a basketball. So he's so athletic. When he hurt his shoulder, he got too big. So he's fighting to lose some weight. But he is just when you put him in the middle, we were talking today, you have to have 2 people to block him. One guy's not going to block him. And that then releases your linebackers quicker or get some other people free. So he is what you always look like to be that nose tackle. And got a lot to learn, just like Zach Rice. They're both tremendous young players. Neither one of them are ready to go right now for long periods of time, but they both are great signees, and I can't wait to watch them play.
Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Greg Barnes, go ahead.
Good morning, Mack. I know you guys are past the halfway point now. I'm just curious in terms of getting the guys on board with the rededication to the calls, if you will. Have you been pleased with kind of the team's mindset and approach to spring practice?
I have, Greg. I last year, I never liked the team in the spring because it was up and down, and I couldn't figure out why. I think probably some entitlement set in because everybody kept telling us how good we were, and we just come from the Orange Bowl, and we just had Texas A&M, and we had a chance to win with 5 minutes left when you don't have a lot of your good players. So there was a lot of reinforcement coming in that I think was false. And we just never really got over that. We just thought we were pretty cool, I thought, in the spring. And then I thought it carried over to the fall, and that's why we had the inconsistent team. You never know about teams till you play. But this team has been all in. They're competing every day very hard. We had one of the best practices today and Saturday back to back that I've been around since we've been here. We're inexperienced at quarterback. We don't have a lot of experience at running back. We're limited at wide receiver. We lost a lot of offensive linemen. So there are a lot of question marks. But I really feel good about everything that's happening right now because they like each other. They like to play, and they're competing so hard.
I know you've got guys like British Brooks and Brian Anderson and some others who've been around and provided leadership. Have there been any other guys maybe have stepped up thus far and impressed you with their leadership capabilities?
Yes, Corey Gaynor has come in and given us added leadership on offense. And Ed Montelis and William Barnes are playing the best that they have played, and it's their turn, kind of their turn to step up. I do feel like that the backup offensive lineman, we're looking for that 2 guys or 3 guys to step up. And the quarterbacks, it's hard to lead till you're the guy. So we're asking them to do that, but that's hard. I do feel like that Josh Downs is stepping up in the receiver room, so that helps us as well. You start looking at defense. Ced Gray is a really good leader. I've never seen anybody play harder than Power Eccles, and he will just knock your head off. I mean, he hit somebody today in practice. He just loves it. He loves to play. Don Chapman is out there and healthy. And again, he came back from a knee operation at Notre Dame, and here he is playing in the spring at a very high level. So a lot of those guys are stepping up right now, and we're really stressing leadership. And I feel like we're getting it. Michael Carter, I said, came out to practice one day and said, "What do you see? We just need more alpha dogs to step up." And that's what we got to do. And it's, I feel like they're stepping up in their own units. They're not stepping up as much right now for the whole team. And that's the next step.
Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
Dina King, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. March has been a big recruiting month for you guys. You've had a lot of prospects on campus watching practice. How do you guys feel on the recruiting front?
We feel good. It's slower this year because it's again, they're getting out of the COVID mode and they're wanting to visit a lot of different places. And then you got new coaches at some of the schools that have new hope, and we didn't finish like we needed to. So we feel really, really good about a lot of players. We just haven't gotten many commitments at this point. I think that'll be coming. Everybody's starting to set up official visits now. And we'll probably have a lot of official visits in May and June. Also,
Coach Bicknell just recently hired. So how is the continuity with the offensive line and him going?
I think it's good. We're lucky that he's got so much experience that he could fly in here one day and be coaching on the field the next. And he's positive, he's upbeat. The kids have really rallied around him. He knows this offense like the back of his hand. He and Coach Longo and Coach Porter all have worked together before. So it's been pretty seamless, Dana, just because of all of those things. And he's, I like his attitude, and I really like what he's bringing to the offensive line.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Chapel Fowler, go ahead.
Hey, Mack. How has your relationship with Hubert changed since he got named head coach about a year ago today? And can you elaborate a little bit more on what's it like to see him just go on this huge run this month?
Chapel, it hadn't changed any. I've been a friend of Hubert's when he was here before, and then when we were at ESPN together, and then with him returning. So it just puts a smile on my face to see how he's navigated these waters in his first year and handled things so well, and have taken from struggles early to getting a little bit better to now a legitimate chance to be the best team in the country. So I'm just so proud for him and the assistant coaches, and to watch them prepare and not have an off day against St. Peter's the other day, which would have been really, really easy to do with everybody talking about Duke being next. I was very, very impressed with the attitude that we took the floor. We dominated the game early. There was never any question who was going to win that game. And I thought we took St. Peter's heart out early in the game. And that was one that could have been really dangerous if we'd have gone out there and stood around and been cool. So I really liked what I saw. And I talked to our team about that this morning. You got to play, and you got to play every day. And you can't take anything for granted. And everybody's good enough to beat everybody anymore. So man, go for it. And so I'm so proud of them and can't wait to watch the game on Saturday. We've got our high school clinic Saturday, so we're expecting a lot of high school coaches. We've got a very important practice. We'll have a lot of recruits afterwards, so I'm not going to be able to go to the game Saturday night because I've got to stay here and take care of business here. But I will get home in time to make sure I'm on my couch pulling hard.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chapel.
Gregory Hall.
Mack, I didn't know you were such a basketball analyst there.
Well, I'm a huge basketball fan. When you're from Middle Tennessee, you play basketball and you enjoy it. And I watch every game. I'll watch the NIT. I'll watch it all because I love to watch them compete.
With the with the wide receiver room, is being limited more of an experience, guys not stepping up, injuries? What's going on in that room?
Gregory, we've had a very unusual circumstance there when Bo Corrales goes to SMU after not being able to play last year. And then you have Chaffrey Brown and Emory Simmons transfer. And then THI gets sick. So all of a sudden there's 4 guys that you were planning on that aren't here anymore. And that's kind of what the transfer portal does to you. And we haven't been able to find the right transfer to plug in. And then because you're limited in the numbers, sometimes they get sore, and you have JJ Jones and pulls a hamstring. So he's limited some. Justin Olson had a procedure done after the season, so he was limited some. And now those guys are back, but we're still playing with about 6 guys when we'd like to have 13 in that room. So we're very, very limited there. And I can't wait to get Doc Chapman and Andre Green coming in June, May to June, because that'll help us with the numbers. But that's an area of concern.
And then with Bryson Nesbitt working at both wideout and tight end, what's the challenge for him and how's that going? Is it a benefit that he didn't really start playing football until junior year, so he's still kind of in that learning mode anyway?
Yes, Gregory, I think twofold. It's fun for him to be outside and be a mismatch on routes. It forces him to learn more about the routes. And even though he will play more at tight end than wide receiver, his route running outside is going to really help him improve his mismatches on linebackers and safeties inside. So I do think it's going to help him more and more. And we just feel like he's a special player, and he's enjoying getting a little piece of all of it. And the other thing we've done that's really helped us, we've put Josh Downs all over the place. So he's playing outside and inside. So people can't bracket him anymore. We let people do too much of that last year. And because of that, Kobe Paysauer is playing a lot more at slot. and that's forcing him to play. And then Gavin Blackwell, which I haven't mentioned, he caught a deep ball for a touchdown today. So a lot of people are getting a lot of work. We're going to go into that opening game with a lot of question marks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gregory.
Ross Martin, go ahead.
Hey, Coach Brown, I have another kind of basketball related question, but wanted to kind of see if you could speak on the symbiotic relationship between the two programs and how a Final Four run can help the football team in terms of publicity and getting the brand out there, and how you use the basketball team. I know you'll do a lot of recruiting events that include basketball games can help the football program.
Yeah, Ross, the sports is basically the front porch to our university, because we get more publicity through the sports program, good and bad. That's why it needs to be good, than anybody else on campus. And it's just invaluable how much the ladies and now the men going into the Final Four, how much publicity that will give our university across the world, and how much it matters. And all of our football prospects and our players are pulling for our basketball team. And when they come, they do want to go. A lot of our guys that are on our team go to every game, and they want to be there. Puff Johnson, we see him every day. He's in our building, and I've gotten to really enjoy him. And Baycock's best friends with Chris Collins. I think they went to high school together. So there's a lot of overlap between the two programs. And every time North Carolina is talked about on TV, it helps us. It helps us in recruiting. And people always used to say, well, that makes it more of a basketball school or not. No, it's us. It's us. It's the Carolina Blue on TV, and everybody wants to see you be successful. So every game that they win, it helps us, and we pull for them so hard.
Okay, our final question today will come from Art Chansky. Go ahead, Art.
Hey, Art. Get rid of mute, Art.
Muted, Art.
Art, you're muted.
Let's go, Art. Art, you're muted.
I'm
There we
unmuted.
go.
Hey,
We got
All right.
it.
hey,
we
I apologize for all this techno. I'm a techno nerd. And I had to jump off for a phone call. So if you've answered this question, I apologize for asking it again. And you don't have to answer it again if I've asked it.
Okay, I've
In most of the mock drafts I've seen, that Sam has dropped to the second round. Is that something that happened in the combines, or is that either intangibles that will make whoever drafts him get a player that maybe tests better? And did he go to the pro day, and did he make up for some of that, like you said at the beginning of the conference?
Yeah, Art, one thing I've learned through my many years of being a head coach is nobody knows what's going to happen in the draft. There's so many models, and I've seen him in the top 15. I've seen him in the top 25. I've seen him early in the second round. And that's just, that's what when I was there in the media do, we project. But we really don't know what's going to happen, because it just takes one team to pick you. And those teams aren't going to show their cards now and tell you who they're going to draft, because they don't want somebody up to draft. So I sure hope he's in the first round. I thought he had an outstanding pro day yesterday. He was throwing to Ryan Switzer and some other guys that he had thrown with in Charlotte, and he missed very few passes. He was sharp and looked very, very good. So, but I do know about the time we think we know where somebody's going to be drafted, and we're sitting there on draft day and it doesn't happen. Everybody's shocked, but it doesn't shock me. I've told the guys, don't ever prepare to be drafted anywhere. You just wait, you see where you're drafted, and then go make your team. But I think he's got a great opportunity, and a lot of people are very interested in him. The 32 teams that showed up yesterday, 32 don't show up many places, so I figure most of them came to see Sam.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, Thank you so much. It sounds like we've got Denoris Searcy with the guys. So thank you.
Yes, I got a special treat for you. Denoris is going to come in and talk to you a little bit about his new role. So he's here with us. And like I said, I'm excited about meeting Kiki, and I just met Denoris, and he's had a real impact already being around the kids. So let's welcome Denoris Searcy.